Greetings, salutations, once again. We're here with the hardcore Paladin, still very much alive. I try to cycle off Paladin, Sorceress, because I don't want to overdo the one and then not do the other one or forget to do the other one. And we are in Nightmare. And I think we're gonna be having a bit of a struggle. Whoops. That's not what I want. That's what I want. Did we not do that? Oh, we didn't go do the... Okay. We just started Nightmare. Alright, that's right. The last time I played the Paladin, I got out of normal and I was going to start Nightmare, and then I didn't do the what's this called there? Trying to think of the name of it. Den of Evil. Ow. Painful. Very painful. Oh, they're both lightning enchanted. Oh, wonderful. Ow. Okay, well, that one just offed itself, so... Let's... I mean, you could chain stun it there in the corner, but it's actually better to have him do that because of the thorns. However, with this one, it's probably better to just beat him down in the corner with smite. Ow. Because the problem with thorns is ranged minions can't take thorns damage, so you're unfortunately left with just pummeling them in the corner. And the damage taken goes to mana is very helpful, because then you don't have to actually sit there and worry about, are you going to get mana back? You just have to worry about getting life back. Oh, there we go. Blood poison. Well, he certainly acted like blood poison. Jeez. You see how much damage I took between all of them? A little ridiculous. Unfortunately, I gotta go back and get my mercenary. Ready. Apparently, he didn't have very good resistances. There's a couple things that I kind of wanted to talk about today. Well, I'm recording these all on the same day. This one and the two previous videos are all recorded on the same day. But what I wanted to talk about was, recently I've been playing games like The Bazaar. Now, I mean, obviously, I had someone commenting not to be, negative toward it. And I thought to myself, no game is beyond critique. Am I good at it? No. Is there imbalances in the game? Yes. To say that there's not would be a disservice to, well, everything. Of course there's going to be imbalances in games, because that's what games have. All games have an imbalance. Every single one of them. It's a matter of finding that imbalance, and if you can either capitalize off of it, or you just have to sit there and say, okay, yeah, it's imbalanced. You know it's imbalanced, and you recognize it. But when I have people saying, it's fine that they comment. Don't get me wrong, and I can take criticism. I can handle criticism. And some guy, said that I needed to get good, and it's like, yeah, I probably do. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably absolutely abysmal at it. And then another person comes in and basically starts saying that I shouldn't be negative about the game. Well, that's the problem. I'm negative about a game when I can see some glaring issue with it, and either other people can also see the glaring issue with it and are turning a blind eye, or they can't see the glaring issue in it. At which point, it's like, well, if you can't see the problem, then you can't possibly bring it to their attention and help them rectify it, you see? So to me, finding a critique about a game and saying, oh, well, it's imbalanced for this reason or imbalanced for that reason is a perfectly normal thing to do. And I think more people should put forth at least some sort of a concentrated effort to that end. Of at least saying, yep, this is overtuned, it needs to be looked at. I mean, obviously the game is highly, has a lot of RNG in it. And most games do these days. Even Diablo has high RNG in it. And the thing is where the RNG ends and a build being broken begins, it's hard to discern that line in the Bazaar. Really, it is. Because it's like, could somebody have gotten really lucky and made a really, really powerful build? Absolutely. Could somebody have gotten, absolutely abysmal luck? This guy here. And done poorly? Yes, absolutely. But when certain synergies are just outright broken, it's no longer about luck, it's just that synergy is busted. Why is it allowed to continue? And to be honest with you, this happens in every game. I mean, even Hearthstone. And Hearthstone recently nerfed the things that were, they recently nerfed things that were causing problems for players and making what is called an unfun play pattern, right? Because you want the play pattern to be fun. You want to be able to sit there and say, yep, this play pattern is enjoyable, win or lose. Which, kind of like with my Warlock deck, it's an enjoyable play pattern, but win or lose, it's still enjoyable. And I fail to find that in the Bazaar. It's kind of like playing Magic the Gathering online. Magic the Gathering Arena. I fail to find it in Magic the Gathering Arena. And in Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, which is why you don't see me playing those games. And yes, I've tried them both. I play Magic in physical form, like actual physical card form. But I don't play Magic the Gathering Arena. Because it's the same thing. The play pattern doesn't feel fun, even if you're winning. Because the play pattern is it's just not there for me. Same way with Yu-Gi-Oh! The play pattern is not fun. Trying to fix that and remedy that is up to the player base to say, hey, we need to point out where these issues are so that said company can, find these, problems in the play pattern and fix them and rectify those. Or at least try to bring them back in line. And that's left up to the consumers because, a company is not going to have enough time to devote to find everything, right? They're not going to sit down and be able to find every instance and every iteration and then extrapolate the data outward as to why it worked that way. No company's got that time. That's tens of hundreds of hours invested into finding one sort of I can't even say anecdotal, but one form of evidence. Like, I played a Demon Hunter deck in Hearthstone, and I'll use this as an example. Whoa. Lag. Weird lag, but lag. The Demon Hunter deck that I played was really interesting. Because it's still the Death Rattle Demon Hunter, where you get the 5 mana minion, And when you play a 5-mana minion, you can have it summon a 4-mana Death Rattle minion, and it summons 2 copies. Well, I have 2 minions in that deck that are 4-mana that are Death Rattle. One of them is... Actually, I'll make that F1 and then make that F2. That way I can just come down here and just hit F2, and there we go. One of the minions that I have in that deck is Ball Hog. Ball Hog is a 3/3 Death Rattle for 4 mana. It's got Lifesteal. Hits Death Rattle, does 3 damage, or its damage, I think. Can't remember if it's specifically 3 or if it's its damage to the lowest health enemy, which goes face if there's no one there, which is fine. It's a well-adjusted card. It's not broken by any means. And then the other one is the 4/4 for 4 summon Battlecry and Death Rattle. Summon a wow, he died again. Summon a Dormant Wild Seed. Now, a Dormant Wild Seed can be one of 3, which some of the Wild Seeds are kind of lame. One of them is like it's dormant, resurrects in 2 turns, or awakens in 2 turns, and you gain 3 attack. It's not bad. One is a 5/5 that awakens in 3 turns, and it's a taunt lifesteal. Also not bad. One of them is a 3/3 that has elusive. Wished it had rush, or something other than elusive, because it just, that one resurrects it, or not resurrects, but awakens in 1 turn. There's just something that feels off about all 3 of them, right? Like the one that gives you 3 attack is fine if you're using the spear. The one demon spear that says whenever you attack, it does, your attack damage to another minion or to another enemy. Fine and dandy, because it could go face, it could go to other minions, it can go wherever. So I'm fine with that. Where I have an issue is that it takes 2 turns for you to get that 3 attack. Now, you have to hope that A, you have the weapon in your hand and can get to that weapon and play it, then get to 3 attack and use it effectively. If you can't, you're just you got 3 attack and you're not really doing anything with it. But that's not the biggest issue with the card. Biggest issue with the card is, yes, it's a 4-mana Death Rattle minion, and it does the 5-mana demon does summon it, and it summons 2 copies of it. This is where the problem arises. You have the 5-mana minion summoning 2 of the 4-mana minions that when they die, they summon... I'm going to put another point to smite, because I can, for the next 3 levels anyway. That when the 4/4s die, they summon the dormant creatures. The problem with the dormant creatures is well, they take up a board spot. And when they take up that board spot, you can't play anything. So they just kill off all the 4/4s, and now you have a whole bunch of dormant creatures, and it's, rip playable board. And then you still have to wait for all the dormancy to come back, or for them to wake up. Biggest issue with the card is that for some reason the 5-mana demon likes to choose at random specifically the 4-mana 4/4. I don't know why. It's a 50-50 shot with Ball Hog and the other one, but yet it's like, yes, 50-50 on the Ball Hog or the Dormant Seeds. Well, we're going to get the Dormant Seed person every time. I mean, I played, I don't know, 3 games of it earlier, and every single Fell Hunter, Ravenous Fell Hunter I played, summoned the 4/4 for 4. And I'm like, well, I have a Ball Hog that's died. I mean, it used to be the Armor Demon Hunter is what it used to be. Well, the Armor Demon Hunter no longer works because the Arcanite Defense Crystal is no longer 4 mana. And so you have to work around that and play a different card that's 4 mana that you can Death Rattle. I think Demon Hunter's in a really questionable spot, though, for Hearthstone, truthfully. That aside, I've also taken to grilling Nintendo on Twitter recently about the Switch 2. Mostly for one reason, and that is the Switch 2 is nothing more than a glorified hardware upgrade. I mean, let's face facts. That's what it is. It's a pricey Switch 1 hardware upgrade. There's nothing really new and different about it. Some people are excited for it. Me, not so much. Going one further, when I found out that the Switch 2's controls they don't have Hall sensors, and when they don't have a Hall sensor, they're going to become susceptible to stick drift after a certain amount of time. This really kind of soured my whole take on the Switch 2. Because it's like, you had one job, Nintendo. You had one job. One of the Achilles heels of the original Switch design was it needed the ability to not have stick drift. Or to have minimal stick drift. And they didn't do it. Now, I know. There's people who say, well, it's not something you could really develop around. Well, it's not that you could develop around it, but you could remedy a portion of the problem. Like, Hall sensors work really well at remedying a portion of that problem. Now, what would remedy it 100% of the way, but nobody will do it, not even Nintendo, not even Microsoft, is there is the thing that they need done is they need to have it so that you can clean out the controllers better. For example, I will pick it up here. The Xbox Elite, right? Series 2, okay? It doesn't really have a stick drift issue. Except, and I have to use that exception to the rule, and that is that it can have a slight stick drift issue. In the sense that it's after 2 or so years and you get some dirt in there or some hair or whatever from your pets, you will get some stick drift in your Xbox Elite controller. Now, the ways to fix it, and I did watch a couple of videos on it, is if you pull down the stick that you're having a problem with and you blow into it, it will generally blow the dust out or generally blow the hair out that's causing that to happen. It's causing the stick drift because it has the sensors in it that it tries to look for like a little grid work. This is what my brother told me. It tries to search for this little bit of like grid work, and that's how it aligns itself. And when it doesn't see that grid work, because a hair's across it or something, it starts to drift because it can't find it, right? And he says it also happens when there's dirt in there. And you can, knock or tap on the back end of the controller to get the dirt to move, and it generally works to cure the drift problem, which it's worked brilliantly to cure my drift problems. You knock on the backside right here, right up where the back end of the control stick would be, and generally that takes care of the problem. Those, I believe, I believe the Xbox Series 2 has Hall sensors, okay, which prevents stick drift. The other thing that I have, if I can stop going around Bloodraven, is the Nintendo Pro Controller. Okay? I have the Nintendo Switch 1 Pro Controller. And I will tell you one thing about the Nintendo 1 Pro Controller. It sounds like it's a sham, right? You sit there and you're like, man, do I really want to pay 60 or 70 bucks for a Nintendo Switch 1 Pro Controller? Do it. Do it. It is worth it. It is backwards compatible. If you are going to get the Switch 2, the original controller is backwards compatible. And it'll do you well. This is why I hate Bloodraven. Keep her in the corner and beat her down with a shield. Which I'm going to run out of mana, so I unfortunately have to switch back to actually hitting her with a weapon. Which means he'll just keep running. But no, you definitely get the Switch 2. You definitely get the Switch Pro controller. Not only is it backwards compatible for the Switch 2, I have owned those as long as I've owned my Switch. That was literally the third purchase I made. First purchase was the original Switch. The second purchase was my extended memory card, and the third purchase was the Pro controllers. That's exactly what it was. And I've used them more than I've used my actual controllers on the Switch. And they have not once had a single portion of stick drift. Not a one. They are absolutely phenomenal. I am completely impressed with it. And I would recommend to anybody, for sure. And so, knowing that, and looking back on it, and telling people, hey, it's worth getting because it's a good product. It actually held better. It held up better with getting hair and dust and dirt in it, because I used to have 2 Pomeranians. It held up better than the Xbox Elite Series 2. But the problem is like with every Pro controller, every single one that's out there, you cannot take them apart and clean them. And the companies do this because they know that they want you to send them back and service them. And so they know they can get money out of you that way. It's like a razor and blades kind of deal, right? They know you're going to send it back to them because they know you want it to work beautifully. And all they do is take it apart, clean it, and give it back for like 200 bucks. Ouch. Or $100 or 50 bucks or whatever their pricing is. It's a little absurd, but they do it anyway. It's like companies. Just allow people to clean their own product. They've purchased it, allow them to clean it. Don't give them grief. No. I'll do it. Even Nintendo's guilty of it. But I'm one of those people that we used to take apart our old NES controllers and clean them out. And, we'd clean out the NES. You know how you'd get that, like, cleaning solvent from Nintendo, and it says, use only this product, never use anything else? Well, let me give you a little hint. When we were using that product, because we bought it the one time, and it was legitimately just isopropyl alcohol. Because they said, oh, don't drip it directly into the cartridge, don't do this, don't do that. So we dripped it into, like, this bowl, right? And when we dripped it into this bowl, we picked it up and we smelled it. We, got some of it on, like, a Q-tip and we smelled it. And it was legitimately just isopropyl alcohol. And it was the last time we bought that product. We used to clean our NES, SNES, and N64 cartridges with isopropyl alcohol and Q-tips. Yeah. The exact thing they tell you not to do. And we never had an issue with it. We also had this minor abrasive contact cleaner. It's kind of fun. You'd run that on there. Not very heavy. You just kind of... It was like this... It was meant for cleaning contacts on microchips. Not microchips like today, but chips, microchips back in the day. It was meant to clean, like, the contact points, because you'd see where, like, the cartridges would rub up against one another and they'd get that grime on it, from dust being ground into it. And so we would just run it in there and just kind of scrape it a bit, or they would start to oxidize. Because they had brass. Was it? I can't remember if it was brass, but they had an alloy in there that would start to oxidize. Once it started oxidizing, usually from people blowing into the cartridge thinking it helped. Boy, this mercenary sucks. He can't do anything right, can he? But no, from blowing into it, because of the moisture would go in there, and it would cause the stuff to be tarnished and oxidized. And we would use that contact cleaner and just take it right off. We did everything they told us not to do. We didn't care. Our cartridges worked perfectly fine up until the day we sold it. But, like, it was the thing, is when we bought that, what I was getting at is when we bought that cleaner from Nintendo, it was expensive. It was expensive, and it was just isopropyl alcohol. That's when we knew, way back then, that these companies were trying to essentially defraud people for proprietary stuff. Right? They would say, well, it's a secret formula made by the engineers at Nintendo, used to clean their cartridges. And it's like, you could send your cartridges in and get them, get them professionally cleaned here at Nintendo for the low price of like $40. And it's like, yeah, and all you're going to do is put isopropyl alcohol in the cartridge. Put isopropyl alcohol on a Q-tip and clean it. Awesome. Like, it was a complete, you're getting hosed. Every time. So we stopped buying their products and stuff like that. We just took care of it ourselves. Boy, did we have panicked people. Oh, man, all of our friends are like, you shouldn't use that. It's going to damage the system. It's going to damage your cartridges. Well, I'll let you know when they die. And they never did. Yeah. So it's the same thing with the Pro controllers. They're trying to, you'll notice it that you can't open them. There's no way to open these Pro controllers at all. You almost have to like split it open with a device, like jam it in there and pop it open, because they put it together with like adhesives on the inside of the controllers. Now, I don't recommend doing that. I don't recommend popping open any controller, because you probably won't get it back together. If you do, it probably won't work right. But it's like, people, just allow your players and users of your devices to clean them. Allow them to maintain the item. They're paying good money for it. Allow them to maintain it. It's not that hard of a stance to take. They could even, you know what? I'll even go one further. You could triple the cost of the item. You could turn these Nintendo Pro, Switch controllers to $180, but put screws in them so that I can unscrew it and clean it myself and take care of it myself. I'll make that deal. You can make the screws out of solid platinum if you have to get that cost. I don't care. Just allow the people to maintain their own equipment. Imagine if you will. Imagine if Nintendo made rifles for the military. Okay, let's just use that as an analogy. Imagine if Nintendo made rifles for the military. Okay, you have to clean and maintain your rifle, but you, the soldier, cannot take it apart, and you, the soldier, cannot actually clean it. Nope. Instead, you have to send it off to the manufacturer to have it cleaned, broke down, opened, cleaned, and put back together. You yourself cannot do it. Imagine the logistics snarling. Imagine the logistics snarl up, snafu. That would happen. Everything would get all snarled up through the logistics, and you'd be sitting there waiting for rifles to come back, and they wouldn't come back. Right? This is, using that same ideology, just apply that to controllers. That's it. That's all you have to do. Like, just that same simple standpoint. That's it. Of course, people don't like that idea at all. Like, the companies loathe the idea. The players would be like, no, because now they'll just make all the equipment more expensive. Well, that's what they're currently doing. I mean, they're doing it anyway. Because they think, yes, these things are a premium, right? One of the people, that was a person that went and picked up the controller and was testing it, right? It was like crowd reactions to the Switch and how it felt, or the Switch 2 and how it felt. And they were talking about how, it feels premium. It feels heavy. It's got some heft to it. It feels good in your hand. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but it's got stick drift still. They're not even fixing the problems that they had with the original model. They're putting a bigger processor in it and a bigger, video chip, and that's all you're getting. You're getting more speed and on a faster system with higher quality graphics. That's it. It is just not worth the money. And then, of course, you have people trying to blame, tariffs and other things. It's like, no. Because you have... If you take a look at how much it costs in Japan, it's 49,000 yen, right? That 49,000 yen is, if you were to be living in Japan, would turn out to be about the same price if you were to buy it here domestically for US dollars. Not because of the conversion rate. Don't get that conflated. Because the conversion rate obviously is dependent on the strength of the dollar and the strength of the yen. That's how a conversion rate works. So it's never going to be the same. You know, because 7 years ago, the conversion rate would have been, you still would have been paying roughly the same with the conversion rate. Actually, you probably would have been paying more with the conversion rate. But people don't understand conversion rates, and people don't understand, you know, cost of materials, cost of shipping, cost of energy too, because that's also lumped into the cost of shipping. A lot of people don't get that, and they don't understand it. And because of that, they like to blame things that are, intangible. Then, of course, I saw a headline, which the headline read something along the lines of like, Japan to prohibit or limit sales or prohibit sales to China indefinitely. And I thought, well, how's that work? China is the one building them. Like, I saw it. I saw the headline. It was like Japan to prohibit sale of the Switch 2 in China. China's the one making them. How can you prevent them from selling it? They'll just squirrel it away. They'll build 30,000 units and take 10,000 of them and just go put them off in on a pallet somewhere, and then they'll just turn around and sell them when you're not looking, Japan, and you'll never know they're selling them. It's like you can't stop the manufacturer from selling your product. If you want to stop the manufacturer from selling your product, get it manufactured, I don't know, in Japan? Maybe they're ordering all the parts and they're actually putting it together in Japan. I don't know. But from what I know, when I pick up my Switch, it says made in Japan or made in China on the back of it. It does not say made in Japan. It's like, so you've outsourced the production of your console, and if you've outsourced it to China, well, I hate to say it, but they're just gonna start selling them anyway. They're gonna have them in China. There's no way you're gonna stop them. Try to convince the people of that, as they'll think you're crazy. Let them think. But I'm personally not looking forward to the Switch 2. I'm sure it's a halfway decent product, but nah. It's just looking at the whole of the meat of the potato. It's not worth it in my estimation. But I'm going to end it here. Yes, we did do the first 2 quests. We're working on getting toward Deckard Cain. This is going a lot slower than I thought. Normally, by the end of a 40-minute video, I have plowed through 1/3 of the act. I mean, yes, technically, if you think about it from the quest perspective, it is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, right? Yeah, I get that. But I'm only in, the burial grounds. I haven't even gone to, Stony Field or anything like that. So, it's a bit tougher. I do need to get back into doing Scarlet and Violet fights, battles, singles, and doubles. I haven't done that in forever. I do need to get back to doing that. Oh, I've got a lot of other irons in the fire. one of these times I'm thinking about doing just like a just chatting, almost sitting down and not really a podcast. Because I don't like the idea of doing a podcast, and I don't like the idea of becoming a podcaster. I also need to read and see if I have an NDA on Ashes of Creation, as I do have alpha access to that. And I wanted to make a video on it, but I'm gonna hold off because I don't know if I don't know if there's an NDA on it or not. If there's not an NDA on the Alpha 3, I will be making Ashes of Creation content. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to figure that out. I'll have to see. I'll do some reading on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to a lot of things. Normally, this was a more esoteric, Diablo-esque sort of chat, but this one was not. This one is more about tech and games, and which is a good, sidestep to the normal jaunt. But I hope everybody enjoyed it, because I know I did. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow. Just have a lovely week. Honestly, it's technically spring break for most institutions of knowledge. Most schools are on break right now, maybe even some colleges. So if it's spring break, enjoy responsibly. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful weekend. I am going to be doing a 1-year anniversary channel stream. I've already decided what I'm doing for the stream. It'll probably be a 2-hour stream, give or take, 2-3 hours. I don't know. I'll play it by ear. If it goes longer, it goes longer. If not, good enough. And I know what I'll be doing. And I hope to see you there. But I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.